Hello, my name is Pascale Cohen, and I am the Director of Public Relations at Alexis Bittar. Everything. I'm incredibly lucky to work in a category that isn't sizist, it isn't racist, it isn't ageist. It's really just fun for everyone, and that definitely trickles down into our entire company's ethos, which makes my job incredibly fun. I think that part of it is definitely the creativity, which is extremely rare, really, for a director of public relations to have this level of aesthetic and creative input. And it's a real testament to Alexis himself that he allows and welcomes aesthetic input, considering he's such a prolific designer. For example, we're about to launch a breast cancer awareness campaign where we were all sitting around and we were thinking, okay, how do we make this impactful? How do we speak to our audience and gain a new audience, but also really weave in that philanthropic angle that Alexis is so keen and laser focused on weaving into his entire return to the business. He recently reacquired his namesake brand, and he's kind of been decided to just really use his platform in a meaningful way. And so we sat around and we all talked about what we wanted to do, and we kind of came up with this idea that we would choose a charity, and we're working with Living Beyond Breast Cancer, and we took their advice and we shot 7 incredible women all at different stages through breast cancer, and hopefully we've told their stories in a really interesting and moving and thought-provoking way. The way we went about that was such a creative process and all the different elements, and I'm really excited for it to launch. But yeah, I guess that's really a driver, is the creative, from the lookbooks to the images that we put out there to the messaging. But I still get an absolute buzz when we get a credit request in, and to know that you were part of creating some kind of like moment of magic that's going to be immortalized, in the pages of a magazine or on a celebrity. And the final thing that I really, really love about my job is, the clue's in the name, public relations. I just love the relationships that I've been able to build over the years. Some have turned into real, true friendships, and others have turned into mentorships and mentee relationships and mentoree relationships. And yeah, I'm just really incredibly lucky to have the job I have. So the PR industry has changed drastically. I'm sure that people who are more mature and wiser than me will say it's all cyclical and I'm just seeing this for the first time. But in recent years, there's been a real seismic shift towards social media and celebrity-focused PR. It's more about celebrity dressing now. And before, I guess they used to have to wait for an event like the Oscars or the Grammys or things like moments like that in time that you would get an opportunity to dress as celebrity. And therefore all of our efforts and work were going into shoots and publications. But now it could just be another, Tuesday afternoon, and Megan Thee Stallion or Beyonce is, tagging you on Instagram, and all of a sudden you explode your week, which is kind of really exciting and fun. And, it hasn't really distracted from the beauty of shoots and, the curation that goes into them, and waiting and editing, and then the printing and publishing. But it's just a completely different game. And I think that the exciting thing about it is the multitude of voices on these platforms of social media. You have the opportunity of some young person in a town that might not have such a huge fashion scene that can actually express themselves. And that's been really interesting to see. Well, I used to get laughed about a lot back in the day when people would say, oh, what am I going to wear? What are you going to wear? And I'd say, well, is it a dinner party or is it a cocktail party? If it's a dinner party, don't waste a good pair of shoes. No one will see them. You're at a table. it's kind of the same idea of, being on Zoom is throw on a good pair of earrings and you're good to go. And I guess that's probably the reason why I say Zoom and video calling and all that is not only because we're doing this by video call, but also my job has so changed over the last 2 years, because since the pandemic, I'm now able to work virtually from London, even though our headquarters are in New York. And it's given us flexibility, across time zones, ability to share information more rapidly. And I think just willingness from bosses, employees, and employers to understand that working from home doesn't mean that you're in your pajamas and watching telly. And I guess it's just so much simpler with ability to share information, jump on a call. You don't have to be in a meeting room physically present. You can all be there with your notes and your information just as ready as you would be if you were all commuting into an office. I mean, I still obviously go to New York quite often to be physically present, but my entire team are in New York, as are all the other departments that I interact with, and so are a large majority of all my contacts that I speak to on a daily basis. And one thing that has been really brilliant, though, I must admit, is just tracking samples. Tracking samples with the new virtual world and social media and everything is so much easier. I mean, you used to have to, wait for magazines to come out, do the clippings, scan the clippings and everything, and now you get a wonderful digital image pretty much in real time. This is quite a hard question because there have been so many wonderful moments. And I genuinely am proud of every day. Well, maybe not every day, but every day that I've been part of this company is a proud one. Every day that I've survived as part of this company has been a proud one as well. But I think probably, and not to sound too ancient, is our CFDA. Alexis winning Designer of the Year was really such an incredible moment for us as an entire company. It really spoke to everybody from design to accounting to production to sample makers. Everybody was able to revel in that moment. We knew we were onto a good thing. We were having so much fun. We were doing very brave things. We were doing guerrilla posting and advertising before, probably not exactly before everybody else was, but we were definitely on the fringe. And getting the CFDA really crystallized our position in the industry. And what was most incredible and shocking, actually, was that it was CFDA Accessories Designer of the Year. And there's only a handful in all the years of the CFDA awards that a jeweler actually won it. And I mean a pure jeweler. Other brands had received it that had many other categories. So it was really great for not only our micro industry of the accessories world, but also just us as a company. We were just so thrilled, and it was off the back of our really great shoot with Dame Joan Collins, Alexis for Alexis, and it was just, we were just having a great time. Yeah, very, very proud moment. And the after party, my gosh, not proud of the hangover, but very, very proud of the whole lead up. So many tips I'd give my younger self. I mean, there's so many tips I'd give myself tomorrow to the person to me today. I think the biggest one is probably just don't hesitate. Take better notes and remember to reread them. That's the key. I always take notes and then forget to reread them. And then, I mean, on a, completely frivolous one, but a real personal note, is try not to worry so much about what you look like. It's about what you know and what you're saying that's more important. I think that's it.